Hey everyone, welcome to the Confusion Diaries. So, in this video, we'll be talking about what is Confusion Diaries, what is all this confusion about, where does this confusion come from, how to deal with it, and more or less, at times, there will be a moment where you just cannot deal with that confusion. It is there to stay. So, how to be okay with it, how to really just accept it the way it is, and that's all that we are going to be talking about in this video. And starting with what is Confusion Diaries. Now, Confusion Diaries is basically a moment, or like it's not really a moment, but it's more or less like the confusion that we go about by on a daily basis. It can be of any type, but the truth here is confusion is here to stay. We are going to be confused, maybe more than we want to be, but we are going to be confused about a lot of things. So we can really say that this confusion is like it comes from decisions. It can be big decisions, it can be small decisions, it can be even after making a decision. Like, if I have to really say that what are the forms of confusion, then from my understanding I can say that confusion is when you have made a decision, and at that time you're really thinking, was that done in a right manner, was that decision the right one? Or when you are setting out to do something, and that is the point you think, should I do it, would it be done well? Like, at this point, this is my first video, but clearly I have been thinking about starting a YouTube channel since last year, and I have been more than more than clear. I have been confused. Should I do it? What should I make it about? How exactly do I have to make it? And more or less, what setup do I need? This and that, various things. Until today, where I just thought that I'll just, sit on my couch, I'll place the camera, and we'll just do it, and that's that. But yeah, that's one type of confusion. Another type of confusion is after not doing something. At times, you think that you should not do something. Like, it feels like the best option, but after some point, or after a certain time has passed, you start reflecting and you realize, or you start asking yourself that, should I have done it? It's more or less, I won't say it's regret based, but it is more or less you just look back and think that if you would have started something way back, it would have come to, it would have got better with time. So anyway, and the last one, I find this one really interesting. It is confusion because of the timing. Sometimes you do something, you say something to someone, or you just take a decision of any kind, and it just doesn't work. Yeah, it just doesn't work, and you realize that, was it the right time of doing that? Was it the right time of saying that? Or was it the right time of taking whatever action you took, or whatever decision you took? So, that's, I would say, these are the types of confusions. Maybe there can be more, but based on my experience, I think these all I could really relate to, understand. And more or less, confusion really stems from the fact that life is inherently uncertain. In an uncertain environment, when there is a lot of uncertainty, where you never know if your decisions are going to be right or wrong, there will be confusion. Because, clearly we want our decisions to be right, we want our decisions to get us the best results, but when there is uncertainty, we are in a constant state of confusion to do something or not. And even if you choose to do something, to do it in this way or that way, to get this or that, so various other things. And to some extent, it all stems from the fact that life is uncertain. And clearly, when life is uncertain, and when we want the results to be the way we have imagined, then unfortunately we start expecting perfect clarity. Like, unless I have the perfect clarity, unless I have the perfect tools, unless I have, unless I have it all perfectly, like I have the best ingredients, I am not going to set my foot inside the kitchen. But life is not about that. Sometimes you just have to enter in the kitchen, just have to see what all things that you have, what all ingredients that you have, what all tools you have, what all utensils you have, and make the best out of it. I mean, don't you think life is about that? Like, even if I have to ask you to look back in your life and think of the decisions that you took that have led you here. Some have been the best decisions, some have been the worst decisions, but you know what has been there clearly? The best decisions have always given you some of the best results, which is why they are the best. But the worst decisions, they have given you the lessons which have helped you make the best decisions. Now, I know I just cooked this up right now, it's not even written in my paper here, but like, it is what it is, I think. And I think that's what it is. So sometimes we feel what society thinks or tells us is right. It's a standard because a lot of people think that way. And I'm not saying that they are wrong or right. It's just that we are all like whatever we are the product of our upbringing, experiences, and various other things that we have gone through since our childhood to today. So we clearly depend on society a lot because we as humans, we are social creatures, right? We are social animals. But the reality is to some extent very different. Like, when the society tells, or when the overall system tells you that you should be clear, you should have goals, it's fair enough, it's right. I mean, we all should have goals because goals give us a purpose in our life. It gives us a zeal to get up every day and to do the thing that needs to be done to achieve that goal. And once you have achieved it, you move ahead and ahead and ahead to various other goals that you set out at various walks of life. But like the part where we say that you need to be clear with your goal, like how you are going to achieve it or what course of action that you are going to have, it's a very I would say it's a very feasible way of thinking. It's a very reasonable way of thinking that okay, you should have a certain plan. But seldom do we see that a certain plan that we make in our life, it actually works the way we want it to. At times plans just change out of nowhere. Sometimes we notice it, sometimes we go through a very rough patch because that's a change in plan. But to achieve a certain goal, there will always be various other like avenues. Like they say that success is never linear, it's always up down up down up down, and somewhere at a point you realize that yeah, I think you are successful in getting your goal, and then you start for a new goal, and again there is that ups and downs, and like that's how it is. So clearly, I mean, no one really talks about, or I think it would be a very extreme statement if I say no one really talks about, but it's more or less not much is being talked or addressed about uncertainty enough. Like, yeah, I mean, we clearly know uncertainty exists everywhere. These days, you must be reading a lot about wars and various other things that are happening in this world. So clearly, I mean, it's not a certain environment. So how exactly can we really say that like certainty is guaranteed? It never is, it never was, and maybe it never will be, because it is what it is. It is exactly what it is. Now at times clarity is encouraged and confusion is hidden. A lot of people out there, you would see, like they seem very clear. Like right now when I am talking, I don't know, I mean, okay, I'll not talk about myself. A lot of people out there, you see that they seem very clear. When they talk, you feel that, oh my god, the guy has extreme articulation with his thoughts. The guy has extreme command over the language. He knows what he is saying, he knows how he is putting things. But at times, that clarity comes only after a brief period of confusion. Like, when you are clear about certain things, that comes after you have been confused about it for a big period of time. After you have gone through that confusion, you have tried to find different kinds of answers. That is when you realize that, okay, this is how this thing works. And which is why, I find it really, like appalling when they say that confusion, one should never be confused. Come on, we are all going to be confused. We are confused at this moment. This is literally my first video that I am recording. I'm not really sure people are going to watch till this point or not, but still, with all that confusion, I am just trying to keep up with whatever that I have, planned for this whole script. And I'm trying to, come with clear thoughts with all the confusion that I am processing in my mind. So clearly, confusion is there to stay. It is, I won't say it's a way of life, but it's a part of life. And if we don't address it, then I think either we are living a lie or we are just too scared to address that truth. But anyway, when I say about truth, let's talk about the truth about clarity. So, it's said that we are clear at a lot of things. We are clear at a lot of things, but again, it's not everything. Yeah, it's unfortunately not everything, because there will be some things in your life that you will be clear about, that you will just know that, okay, if I do this, it is going to get me this. Like, some things just feel like maths, that there are certain steps that you have to take and you will reach a certain destination. Simple. But there will also be a lot of things in our lives that will not be clear, and I think that's just how it is. And that's more or less because clarity is temporary. With every moment, with every step that you take in your life, you will come across various different kinds of circumstances, hurdles, and based on those hurdles or circumstances, you will have to adjust your momentum. You will have to adjust your path, which is why they say that when there are rough seas, you don't really stop the I think it's related to sailing, that you adjust your sails. I'll actually put up the quote here. I'm not able to frame it well, but anyway, so it's actually that, what you feel is clear today, that this is exactly the course of action that I have to take, might completely confuse you the very next day when you have got some new information, when you think that, okay, what I was thinking felt clear, whatever felt clear yesterday, maybe there is another part to it, maybe there is another route to it. And of course, you're confused because one thought that you were very clear about has turned wrong. So now you are confused because what if the other thought that I have encountered is not right? But I think it's a very valid kind of confusion that we all go through. I think let's really think about how exactly do we think. As humans, we want our efforts to give results. Not just results, the best results, the results that we had in our mind when we set out to do that thing, when we set out to take those efforts. And it's a very natural expectation, because when you take efforts, you think a lot, you process that thinking, you take action. So after you have done all of that, clearly it's a very understandable thing that you would want the best outcome, like the way you have thought. But when you think in this terms, in a way we can say that we are being attached to outcomes. There is a very profound saying, and it's also part of Bhagavad Gita, that says that one should just do their deeds in the most honest and in the most honest manner, and they should not really think about the outcomes. Outcomes are like the fruits that you get after you have done your actions, which is a fair thing. But seldom as humans we really set ourselves away from outcomes. We are constantly I won't say constantly, but again, we are a lot of times really focused on what outcome we are getting out of our actions. We fall in the trap of waiting for the perfect way, because like our mind clearly thinks that if something is not being done in a perfect way, it won't get the right kind of outcome. So there has to be a perfect way. So we wait for the perfect way, for the perfect setup, for the perfect ingredient, or like it can be perfect anything. It can be perfect anything that we are waiting for. But there is a very profound quote that I had read in, or actually I had seen in the movie Doctor Strange, where like Doctor Strange is having a conversation with that ancient one, and he tells that he is not ready, and that's where she says that you are never going to be ready. It's just how it is. And I think that's a very valid way of thinking, that we are never going to be ready. You just have to do things. You just have to you just have to take that action, no matter how perfect it is, no matter how great it is, or no matter how imperfect it is for that matter. You just have to do it. If you do it right, great. If you don't do it, you can at least learn from it. And I think that's all that matters. And lastly, I would say the reality that you really need to accept here is that when you think that I am going to do my best, I'm going to do this in the best possible way, you clearly have to really think that your best, when you say, it's based on your standards, your perception. So it's a very subjective thing. Like whatever that you think is best for you might not be best for someone else, because clearly because clearly, as I had said earlier, we are the so let's address the reality that I think we all need to accept. When we say that I am going to do my absolute best, I'm going to put my absolute best efforts, absolute this, absolute that, and when we do that, when we think that, at times we do attach ourselves to outcomes, that now that I have done my best, there will be the outcome that I had envisioned, which is a fair thought. Okay, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's a very fair, it's a very normal thought. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, when we say my best or your best, it's based on me, it's based on you. Clearly, because it's a very subjective thing. What I feel is best might not be the best course of action for someone else, or what someone else feels is best might not be a best course of action in my vision, in my experience, I would say. So which is why the one hard hitting reality here is that there is no absolute best. There can never be, because it's a very subjective thought. You can only act with what you know right now. Like right now, if you know a couple of things, right now you have a couple of tools, you can only act based on that, and whatever you learn through that, it becomes the guiding light for your next course of actions. In fact, there is a very beautiful line, I would say, in one of the episodes of Modern Family. I believe it was the last episode, where Manny is stranded in a bathtub. He's, I think, handcuffed there, and his mother Gloria, she enters the bathroom, and I don't really remember the whole scene, but she tells him that you have everything that you need to get out of this situation. Just look around you and you will find your answers, you will find your way. And that's exactly that is. Like, you have to only act on what you know right now, and maybe what you know right now is the best. Of course, you will have to give some thought to it, but it is what it is. And confusion does mean that you are thinking. As long as you are thinking, it's a good thing. As you are confused, let's say that you really care about the outcome, you really care about what you are setting out to do, and as long as you care about something, trust me, it's going to work out. Even if it doesn't, you will still find a good way through it to something else that will work out for you. I think that's exactly how our lives have been. A lot of times we have made plans, a lot of times we have made decisions. Some have worked, some have not, but the ones that have not worked, they have been the guiding path for us to the best decisions that we took ahead. And I think that's just how life is. So, yeah, I mean, I would just like to end this by saying that uncertainty is normal, and we all go through it. I go through it, and confusion is a part of it. That's what I have written it. Confusion is a part of it. It is going to be a part of it always. And I think that's that with the video. Now, clearly, since this was the first video, I'm not sure how I have done it, but I'll still be, like uploading this, because I have literally, I don't know. Let's not. I'll be uploading it. So, yeah, if you are watching it and if you liked what I said, or whatever it is, if you have any comments on this, do let me know in the comment section, and I'll read it and I'll address them. And that's that for today. Thank you. Ciao.